Hello! Today is another book review day, and as you can probably hear, I'm not very well. I've had a cold for a few days now, and there was a point where I lost my voice and it's still a little bit strained, so I do apologise, but I will try and get through this as best I can, and please try not to laugh too much at my squeaky attempts at speaking. So, like I said, it's another book review day, and it's the 6th book from the 2015 reading challenge. I'll put a little link down below in the description box so you can check out the challenge if you want to do it. But it's basically to read 52 books over the next year, all coming from a different category. And the book that I've been reading this week has come from the category of a collection of short stories. And the book that I've been reading is There Once Lived a Woman Who Tried to Kill Her Neighbour's Baby, Scary Fairy Tales, by, now bear with me, Ludmilla Petrushevskaya, translated into the English from Russian by Keith Gesson and Anna Summers. This certainly is an interesting book of stories. If you've read Angela Carter's This Bloody Chamber and enjoyed that, then this is a book that you'll probably enjoy as well. They're not traditional fairy tales. You won't recognise any of the characters or any of the places mentioned, but they are as dark and as twisted and as strange as traditional fairy tales. As we all know, fairy tales aren't the Disney portrayals of happy ever afters. Fairy tales were written as cautionary tales to frighten people, to frighten children, to get them to behave themselves or behave in a certain way, otherwise the boogeyman will come and get you. And so these stories are of very, very dark nature. Although quite amusing, most of them end in death, and not just kind of a regular death. People die from very strange things. I don't really want to give too much away because they are interesting little stories. They're very short in themselves, some of them only a couple of pages long. It kind of focuses on human existence and what we're doing on this earth and how we behave and how we treat people and the consequences of our actions. And with these deaths comes a view of the afterlife, or a kind of spiritual realm as well, which is an interesting approach, and almost a battle between the two. And some people in these stories have lived in both the real world and this afterlife and have come back. And they are interesting, they are strange. I don't know whether or not it has anything to do with the author being Russian and using that as a basis. The culture in Russia is very different to what we have in England. They are peculiar. The title story, I think, is my favourite actually. A woman wants to kill her neighbour's baby, and I know it shouldn't be funny and I know I shouldn't laugh, but the way she goes about it, it's very blunt and brutal. There's no flowery description or emotion. She doesn't like the baby. She wants it dead. And that's it. And with all of these stories, they're very to the point and very blunt, and they don't beat around the bush building a scene or developing the characters. You know what the characters are like to start with. If they don't like something, they'll get rid of it. If they want to do something, they'll do it. Another one of my favourite stories is about two twins. They're sisters and they're dancers, and they work for a show, for a circus. And one of them wants to marry the magician, but he doesn't want the other one around. And because the sisters want to stay together, he curses them. So rather than being two women, they become a huge, giant, fat woman who is the strongest woman around. And she becomes famous for being this really, really fat woman. And again, the way she's described, it's so blunt. There's no lightening the mood. She's described as being so fat that she needs 3 chairs put together side by side when she sits down. And it's amusing little things like that. And I don't know whether it has anything to do with the translation or whether or not it was originally written with such openness and honesty, but they are just lovely little tales. With most books of short stories, I don't always remember every story when I've finished. Some of them do kind of fade into the background. But there are about 3 or 4 out of this collection that did stand out. Some of them are very sad. Some of them are about loss and longing and forgetting who you are and almost just wandering blindly through life, trying to find some sense of purpose and some sense of being. And it's also many stories about the death of a loved one, or a husband or a wife or a child, and trying to find reason in life without these other people. So although they are quite amusing and somewhat silly, almost unbelievable, they are quite sad. These are all people who are on a journey, who need to find something worthwhile in their lives. There's a woman who's got a tiny, tiny little daughter who lives inside a pea shell that she found in a cabbage patch. And this woman is so alone, and she just wants her daughter to grow and be a normal-sized girl. And I just think it's so sad how some of these people are so alone and so lost. And at the same time, some things are so funny. When it comes to death, you can either laugh or cry, and I think you will laugh about death in this. So, before my voice packs up completely, I think this is a nice little book to read. It's not that long. It's about 200 pages. And the stories are strange and interesting and surreal and disturbing and dark and twisted and everything that a good fairy tale should be. There are no happy endings at all in any of these stories. No, that's a lie. I shouldn't lie. There are a couple of happy endings, but in the main, everyone dies. But isn't that what life's about anyway? Everyone dies. So, if you would like to see any more of my book reviews, then please subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every time I've read a book. I also do shameless self-promotion, where I talk about my own writing and what I'm getting up to in my writerly world, and occasionally I give some writing advice as well. So if you're interested in writing and or reading, then please subscribe to my channel, and I hope you have a better day than I do and that all your voices are working well. And when I see you again, I hope to be back to full health. So I will see you soon. Bye-bye.